stock market is one of the few economic engines built into the modern world that can fundamentally change the course of a life. From the first ticker tape to the digital exchanges of today, markets have acted as arenas for ambition, innovation, and capital allocation. They create opportunity for businesses to grow and for individuals to participate in that growth. Across history, disciplined investors have seen modest savings evolve into meaningful wealth. Stories of patience, compounded over years, remind us that success in investing rarely comes from adrenaline or luck, but from an understanding of risk and reward. Markets reward those who balance emotion with intelligence, who respect volatility yet see opportunity within it, and who distinguish between short-term noise and long-term value. Yet risk is real. Prices swing, confidence ebbs, and uncertainty is a constant companion. It is within this tension between possibility and risk that new chapters of economic history are written. And within this space, small-cap equities often represent both the most uncertainty and the most untapped potential. Today's story centers around one such company, a business whose valuation sits modestly, yet whose market participation intersects with one of the most dynamic sectors of the global economy. The global push toward sustainability has reshaped entire industries, from energy to transportation, logistics to manufacturing. As climate commitments tighten and nations accelerate transitions to cleaner alternatives, new markets have emerged alongside traditional ones. Sustainable fuels, bioenergy production, and low-carbon solutions are now at the forefront of global economic transformation. One of the sectors within this shift is the production of alternative fuels designed to reduce carbon emissions from transportation networks that have been historically dependent on fossil fuels. This industry plays a dual role, meeting practical energy needs while responding to regulatory and environmental pressures. It spans major cities, connects regional supply chains, supports agriculture and industrial infrastructure, and engages investors looking for exposure to long-term energy transformation. Companies in this space operate across multiple states and continents. They manage complex production processes, forge partnerships that intersect agriculture, technology, and traditional energy supply chains, and influence both consumer markets and global transport networks. The sector AS impact reaches from rural farming communities, supplying feedstocks to major airline hubs seeking low-carbon fuel alternatives. Within this broader narrative, our focus turns to a specific enterprise that operates at the intersection of innovation and necessity. This company's core business revolves around the production of cleaner, low-carbon fuels intended to replace or augment conventional jet fuel. Without naming the company yet, the story of how it generates revenue and navigates evolving market conditions illustrates the challenges and promise of new energy economies. Now, after laying the foundation of context and industry, we introduce the company that has become the focal point of today's exploration, CF Global Inc., trading under the ticker SAFXXC. Presence in the renewable fuel space offers a real-world example of how markets evolve to meet new global priorities, and how individual companies navigate that change. CF Global's story begins long before its current market price. The company traces its operational roots to efforts aimed at building modular, scalable fuel production facilities. Its flagship plant, located in Nevada, has become the operational center where renewable and sustainable aviation fuels are being produced and tested to meet commercial standards. One of the early milestones was the transition from private entity to public company. Through a business combination that completed in mid-2025, the company began trading on NASDAQ under its current ticker. This marked a significant moment in its growth trajectory, opening access to public capital markets and expanding visibility. Despite the symbolic significance of its listing, the company's financial environment remains complex. Early production facilities require substantial capital investment, and operating expenses can outpace early-stage revenues. CF Global has faced challenges common to infrastructure-focused enterprises, balancing asset-heavy expenditures with revenue generation, managing working capital, and maintaining compliance with exchange requirements. A distinct competitive advantage lies in CF Global's modular facility design, which is intended to be replicated in diverse geographic regions. This patent-pending architecture supports capital efficiency and scalability, elements that matter deeply in an industry where traditional build-out models can cost significantly more time and money. Strategic partnerships, both domestic and international, provide additional avenues for growth and collaboration with regional producers. Risks, in realistic terms, are similar to those faced by many companies in emerging markets. Dependency on feedstock supply, technological execution, and macroeconomic forces. Revenue potential is tied to how quickly facilities transition from pilot phases to sustained commercial output. There's also competition from larger energy giants exploring sustainable fuel alternatives. In the short term, volatility in production output and regulatory timelines can impact financial performance. In the long term, however, the company EAS's positioning in a growth-oriented sector provides a narrative worth observing for those willing to study fundamentals over headlines. Looking ahead, CF Global's expansion plans suggest a roadmap that spans both domestic and international markets. The company is exploring additional facilities that replicate its initial Nevada operation, with design emphasis on flexibility and rapid deployment. These future sites, planned for different regions, aim to substantially increase production capacity in the years ahead. Industry trends support the growth narrative for sustainable aviation fuel. Policy targets in multiple countries call for increasing percentages of SAF blended with traditional fuels over the next decade. In the United States and Europe, regulatory frameworks and incentive structures aim to accelerate adoption, creating a total addressable market that could expand considerably as airlines and energy providers adapt to environmental commitments. Market expectations remain cautiously optimistic. The low-carbon fuel sector is viewed as essential to meeting international climate goals, particularly in hard-to-abate industries such as aviation. With this backdrop, demand projections for SAF continue to rise, offering a narrative of potential growth without exaggeration. Balanced optimism includes recognizing execution risk, capital requirements, and the realities of scaling complex production facilities. The journey of CF Global Inc. reflects both the promise and the complexity of investing in emerging industry sectors. It is a company rooted in innovation, participating in a market driven by environmental priorities and structural change. Its stock price, modest by conventional measures, positions it as a penny stock, an accessible entry point for investors seeking exposure to sustainable fuels. But beyond price lies the lesson. Markets reward knowledge, patience, and research more than hype or conjecture. Volatility is a condition of market participation, not a barrier to understanding. Those who approach investing with a foundation in fundamentals, long-term thinking, and awareness of risk versus reward are better positioned to navigate opportunities like this one. In the evolving world of energy and fuel production, CF Global stands as an example of how companies adapt, innovate, and strive to meet global needs. And for those who seek to understand markets not as shortcuts to wealth, but as systems of capital allocation and economic evolution, the real value lies in insight, not illusion.